What's up, guys? Got a fresh day of doing stuff. Gonna try to knock out as much as I can. We have a wedding to go to this afternoon, and super looking forward to that. It's a Volkswagen person wedding, I guess. So that's gonna be super rad. We're really looking forward to celebrating with the friends. But this morning, I'm gonna try to knock out a few things on the to-do list and show you what I did yesterday when I was out here. So, first off, the Expo bus, chopped out the rusty front floor, did not take out the center stuff there. I'm just going to build around, de-rust all that, seal it, and go around it. I'm not buying a complete front floor section because I'm just going to hack it up anyhow for pedal placement. Thinking pretty hard about going to a hydraulic clutch pedal setup, and I'm definitely upgrading this master cylinder. You can see it down there. The master cylinders on these things are tiny, single circuit, so if you lose a brake line, you're having problems. I don't want that with 100 horse, 115 horse, whatever engine, maybe bigger down the road, big tires, trying to drive this thing long distances, and gotta upgrade the brakes. Like, that is number one. I mean, everything on my double cab is brand new, and the brakes on that thing suck. Like, they're good, one hard braking, all four drums heat up. I mean, four drums all the way around. They ain't that big considering the amount of weight that's going down the road here. I mean, totally suitable for 1965 when everything had four-wheel drums and everybody was driving on bias ply tires, and things a little different now. So, got to keep the time. So, looking at brake upgrades. Not going to build the floor yet until I determine what master cylinder I'm going with. Probably going to do a vacuum boost. Definitely going with disc brakes on this thing. Still haven't totally sorted out what front suspension even I'm going with. So, but I wanted to get this out of the way so I could brainstorm a little bit and start thinking about how I'm going to fab up this gas pedal mount, because it needs to be bolted in. And then, I mean, I might have a swinging pedal set. Not entirely sure, but just wanted to get things out of the way, brainstorm it. And also, that's all that was left of the floor. So it was cooked. Also wanted to be able to get access to these dog legs so I can start thinking about, this one looks decent, but it's pretty roach. The other one is completely gone. So I think I want to modify those a little bit to give a little more clearance and some body protection. That's going to be a big thing that I'm going to want to focus on too. Is, I mean, it's a beater, but it is going to get painted, and I'm going to want some body protection from where trail riding this thing. So that's what's happened with the bus. Waiting on bushings so I can mount up my engine cross member, and picked up some bushings for the trans mount yesterday. So that is totally in process. Still working on it. Don't want to think I'm abandoning it because I'm jumping over to this thing now. So as I showed, I have my frame table, as I call it, recycled scrap that I bought surplus. Works great though because you can level everything up and get things nice and square and true. So today's job is I'm going to try to knock out both sets of frame rails for this dude by 2 o'clock. It's about 8:30 a.m. right now, so it should be, hopefully I can do it. So going to get started cutting and welding and see if we can come up with some frame rails. Alright, so I've roughly laid out the dimensions here. Shooting for a 100-inch wheelbase. It's just the miters here I have written down, and I'm using a 44-inch stock front Toyota spring from like what, 79 to 85 4Runner pickup, just straight axle. They are short. 44 is not very long. Not going to offer a ton of flex. I'm probably going to end up taking leaves out of it. I think they're a 3-inch leaf spring or lift spring. I could have gone junkyarding and started measuring springs, tearing them out, then I'd have to put bushings in. I'd have to spend time going to junkyard. 4-Wheel Parts had a screaming deal on springs, this particular spring, so I bought the 4. So it is what it is. If I get them in there and it doesn't work, it's just metal and I can fix it. Not worried about it. So my initial frame rail is going to be 59 inches. I went back and forth between my slammed thing with tape measure over and over and over. My biggest concern is having interior space for the kids to be able to ride back here. I should have drawn the kids in right here, but I'll get to that here. There, kid. So my biggest concern is interior space. I'm going to get a child seat, I guess, a 52-inch wide side-by-side seat that's set up for harnesses for the kids in the back. So that'll be accommodating for 3 kids, I hope. And then basically just the rest of the dimensions. I did spend a little bit of time this morning drawing this out in CAD to get some rough ideas, but I figured that I would just lay it out real quick here so I'd have a quick reference when I was cutting tube and get everything set. So that's the rough layout, rough dimensions. I'm going to drag that big piece of rectangular tubing in here and get to whacking away at it. And frame rails. Front to back. Redesigned a little bit mid-cut. Decided just because of the springs that I'm using that it wasn't necessary to have this be as high. My original thought was 8 inches, and I think I ended up only adding about 3 inches, 4 inches basically right here. And also kept it symmetrical, so I have the same rise back here. Couple reasons for that. One, I did go off a set of factory drawings for a Toyota frame and basically mimicked those dimensions. The rear is a little lower hump than the Toyota frame, but I think it should be fine just based off of my quick math I did. And being sprung over gains me another 3 inches or whatever to get clearance. Another reason being, I'm going to try to cram a TDI engine under that hood, which is somewhat low. So if I have these way up, I'm not going to have as much clearance engine-wise under the hood. So trying to keep everything as low profile as possible. Built these lower. Same for the rear. Probably going to end up dropping where the factory package tray is in the thing, since there's not an engine back there anymore, and building just like a trunk space back there. So a lower frame rail in the back helps accommodate that for a little more space, and actually will let me push back the back seat a little bit too and get a little more interior room inside the car than what a stock Volkswagen Thing has. So hopefully everything's right. I mean, I measured about 1,000 times off of the other car sitting here. I think it's going to be pretty close. If it's not, it's just metal. It's not a big deal. Cut it and weld it again. So, obviously, these will all be fish plated and gusted up for strength. I did misspeak earlier. This is actually a 2x4 tube, not a 2x3. I had a full stick of it laying here, so that's what I used. If I was going to buy the tube, I would probably do 2x3, just for weight savings and get a little more room. So there is the frame ready to be clamped up and start tacking it together. Sorry, we're really going to be jumping around today. Well, I was cutting frame. Big box showed up from Jeff Kerr at Acme Adapters. Pretty impressed with how fast it got here. I ordered it on Monday, I think, and it was Labor Day. And it's here on Saturday, which is pretty impressive because it's not like Jeff is Walmart. I mean, it's just a small operation making a very custom part. So, let's see how this thing looks. Oh dang, free hat. I like it already. Wrapped up in the comics, so I got something to read. Alright, so got everything out. This was recommended to me by my friend Jeff, who TDI swapped a Toyota truck. So, looks pretty dang straightforward. I mean, this mount plate, Toyota flywheel that's been re-drilled to accept the TDI bolt pattern, pilot bushing, and that's about it. So, and a hat, and came with the bolts as well. So, not a bad deal. I mean, this price is super reasonable. I just bought the adapter for the bus from Kennedy. They've been doing it since the 70s, and Jeff's price was almost the same. So, zero complaints about this thing. So, should be pretty sweet. I can finally get the engine mounted up and start mocking everything up once the frame rails are built. Really all over the place today. Just got a call from the guy that blasted the wheels for the Expo bus. So I am on the way to scoop those up before they lay in the back of his truck and get rusty. So heading that way now, and I'll show you the wheels and decide how I want to paint them. So pick the wheels back up from blasting. Already started painting this one. Need to pick up some new valve stems when I'm out today. Hopefully I can find a parts store easily that I can grab a set of valve stems, and with any kind of luck get these things mounted up tonight. I'm back on the bus because I am tray stoked to see all four wheels and tires mounted up and ready to go. Going to get started welding these things up. Cleaned everything up, flap disc, bevel the edges so we can get a really good root burned in there. I am not a professional welder, but I have taken welding classes, and I have been welding for almost 30 years now, depressingly enough. So, do have experience. Don't weld your own frames. If you don't have experience, have a professional do it. I am not a professional. Don't beat me up because I'm welding a frame together myself. All the disclaimers here, okay? So, that's what it is. I welded it up. It'll be fish plated. Plenty strong. I've already caught some slack over what I'm using, so just figured I'd throw that disclaimer there. So, gonna start welding everything up. Okay, so I was getting everything jigged up and ready to weld. Just checking everything for plumb and square and straight, and I mean, it's a frame, so it should be pretty straight. And come to find out that this is cut at about a 43-degree angle, probably. The best I can hypothesize is that just my cheap chop saw, wherever it is, over there, most likely was not fully accurate. I probably should have double-checked with a protractor. The other thing is that this 4-inch tubing was kicked at a 45, was almost exceeding what the table on the saw is capable of, so whatever. Not a huge deal, but I want it to all be square and right. So mark this off. I'm just going to take the porta band, nip that edge off, work it a little bit with the grinder, and get everything straight and flush. But just wanted to point out that this stuff does happen, and always check your work. If it's 42 degrees, don't weld it anyhow, because the nose of your frame will be pointing up and you'll look like an idiot. So there you go. Alright, so frame rails are tacked up. I set one of them up on the table here just to get an idea. Obviously, just blocked up the 2x4s. The frame will be a little bit higher than that to clear steering, and obviously depends on the springs. So I just hard tacked everything together. Like I said, this is all going to get fish plated, it's all going to get welded, cross members, the whole 9 yards. So didn't finalize any of the welds until the springs come, and I can put in the springs and hangers and mock all that up, and then that'll let me set up this and my front spring hanger, the rear spring hanger, just get everything dialed before I burn it all in, because I can see this being a situation where things have to get jimmied around a little bit to be happy. So that said, that's where I'm on everything. Really wish I would have had 2x3 frame just looking at it now, because that frame is huge, but it is what it is. It might be somewhat advantageous because I can drop it down and maybe flat belly the whole thing. We'll see once everything comes together. In the rear, now standard Toyota frame rail is going to taper and get wider at the back. So I decided just to run straight rails just because it's easier, and also to kind of tuck things under the thing body a little easier. So these spring perches, I think I'm going to do an outboard spring setup here, but still the spring perches have to get moved over, and then the hangers will actually be on the outside of the frame. But cross that bridge when I get to it, the springs get here and I can mock things up and get a little better picture of what's happening. So there's frame rail, here's the other one sitting up on the table. Like I said, just hard tacked together. So as soon as the springs get here, I can finalize hangers, get everything actually welded up, make fish plates, tack in some cross members and get everything squared up, and the main part of the chassis will be done and ready to start putting in all of the hangers for cross members and engine. Set the Acme adapter up in place. I'm not really sure what's supposed to happen at the bottom here. If the motor just hangs off of this plate and it's not supported at the bottom, that's something I have to look at and look into and do some research on. I feel like it should be a full plate, but I don't know. So gonna have to research that a little bit. So that's all the stuff with the TDI Toyota Thing, which needs named. Someone come up with a name. Also, slapped the wheels and tires on the bus and rolled it off the lift. Get a little more motivation on it. Looks super rad. My buddy Brian dry blasted the wheels for me. I just went ahead and shot them with some Rust-Oleum white paint, and then I mounted up the tires. And just to, one, get it rolling, clean up under it, and also get in so I can get access to work on the floor. And also to get a feel for how the tire is actually going to clear. In the back, tons of room. Like, ridiculous amount of room, stock. Like, inch to spare on either side easily. The front, not so much. So at tuck, it's going to rub front and rear of the dog leg. I have a solution for that, but I am still going to lift it. So I'm going to drop the beam 2 inches, and I think I've decided I'm going to stick with the link pin beam. Send my spindles out there and to get rebuilt and do disc brakes and just keep this beam under it. So lift 2 inches here, IRS in the back with a 2-inch lift, and hopefully it's not too tall. I'm on the fence. I might try to just do an inch at first and see how things clear, and maybe clearance the body a little bit, because I don't want it to be stupid tall. I do intend to take it off-road. So if it gets stupid tall, it's not gonna be great in a Volkswagen bus. So I think it looks super cool. Let me know what you guys think about how it looks. Getting pretty good response about it. So I think it's looking pretty rad. So with all that said, thanks for watching, guys. Appreciate it. Instagram has been blowing up recently, and that is awesome. Hopefully some of you guys watching this right now came over from Instagram. Please subscribe and like and comment, because gets us on the YouTube algorithm train and gets me a little boost. Really, I mean, obviously it's not generating any revenue yet. It'd be great if in the future. I know I'm not going to make a living off of YouTube, but if the ads on YouTube could help pay for all this crap, that'd be awesome. So, just about hit 100 subscribers right now. Once we get to that plateau, then it'll be time to get to 1,000, and then it'll be time to get to 10,000, and so on. So, my goal's been set on 100. It's growing a lot faster, and it's thanks to all you guys that watch. I totally appreciate it. Appreciate everybody comments, it likes, it does all the stuff. So, just really, really appreciative of everything, guys. So, thanks for watching, and I will see you in a couple days. See ya.